G'day boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Get Fit or Die Trying.
G'day boys and girls, just down here at Horsnell Gully Road, bottom of the Chambers Gully Hike Track or the Burnside Quarry Track. I'm just loading up a route I created in Ride of GPS into my Bosch kiosk display, which will be this little blue line on the screen that I will be following. Now this is because I'm going to be riding somewhere new today. I'm going to head over towards Horsnell Gully, but first going to head in through Mount Osborne Reserve, going to get onto the Pioneer Women's Trail. So I'm going to be doing a bit of stuff that I've done before, basically all the way up to Mount Lofty. I'm going to be taking some other trails that I generally don't take, a couple of downhill ones, a couple of uphill ones. Basically make my way across to Green Hill Road, going to cross over Green Hill Road, going to take a sneaky little bit of Heisen Trail, get up towards Giles Conservation Park. There's some real estate here too, it's going cheap with great views, get onto it. Yeah, so once we get over towards there, going to be taking some fire tracks, going to be going down deep into Horsnell Gully. Oh, here's some Pioneer women on the Pioneer Women's Trail. Yeah, it's not quite. Back in the day, I think the women used to carry all the fresh produce down to the city because we didn't really have much fresh produce, and when they settled up in Harndorf there, they used to basically walk down this trail with, you know, big rucksacks full of all their fresh produce so they could sell to the markets in the city there. So yeah, bit of a hike all the way from Harndorf along that trail. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be doing it myself, but there you go. But yeah, the views along here are just awesome. You get views of the city, you get views of the hills. So you go along the bullet track, it just goes up the top there. There's little bits of single track that veer off to the left. You can go down further towards the left there and hit up trails like Venison and things like that, but they're just a little bit overgrown for my liking. Olive tree branches and massive big rocks that are just wanting to smash your derailleur off. So yeah, I'll just stick to this bullet track. Now if you're coming down the bullet track from the top there, whereas the old Mount Barker Road, you've also got some single track that comes along the side here. You can see there's some on the left here, some on the right there. It'll cross the road, you know, cross from one side of the road to the other. It's quite fun actually going down. Not so much fun going up. It is quite techy, so it's a reasonably long climb, so it's just much easier to ride along the flat part of the road here. Get you up towards the top. There's Mount Barker Road. It's the old part of the freeway that doesn't get used anymore. Now we're going to be heading into Cleland Conservation Park, and you can take a right-hander just here, but I like to take this little left-hander, which is a bit of a, I guess it's a bit of a hiking trail, walking trail kind of thing. So yeah, if you were to come along the main part of the fire track there that I was just talking about, that right-hander, you just come on down through there, and then we continue along this track here, and then we take a little bit of a right-hander because that's a walking trail to the left only, and we're basically making our way up in behind Measday's Lookout, so you can access that from the main road up the top there. And then there's this left-hander, so we'll go down the hill here, bit of a little downhill kind of section. And this part's a little bit rougher. It's quite good fun trying to get up this, actually, a bit of a challenge. Looks like someone dumped their rubbish back there. How do people do that? Why do people even do that? Frustrates me. Anyway, keep right, keep along this one here. Now when we get to this point here, we're going to keep left. Alright, on the marine track, you don't want to go up, that's going to take you up towards Measday's Lookout. And when you get to this point here, you also want to keep left and stay on the marine track, don't go up the Beeler track. Now if you do go up the Beeler track, what you're going to be basically doing is taking a really big long rocky climb all the way up to the main road pretty much, and then you're going to sort of go along a little bit of sealed bike track, which will eventually get you down towards the Spa track, and then you can sort of, you know, meander in behind Mount Lofty, get onto the Stube. But yeah, just coming along the marine track here, so it's basically part of the Measday Height you can see down there, which at the end of this it sort of switches back and goes back down along, so that's the other trail down there. It's still the same trail basically that meets up with this one. Now I normally would go around that and continue back down there, but when I get to the end of this one I'm going to chuck a right here, and it says a black diamond, so it's a bit of a steep climb, and yeah, as you can see, this is quite techy indeed. Had a few stops on it, It's got a maximum grade of 34.6% and an average of 19.3, so it's about 572 metres and you're climbing just over 100 metres. Yeah, she's a good little workout, and I'm always keen to try out new climbs, you know. I really love that slow technical aspect of trying to just power up like a tractor, you know. It's just something about keeping the balance and trying not to flip out, and, you know, just, yeah, trying to keep on the high side of little ruts and stuff like this, and, you know, just, yeah, try and see how far you can get up without stopping. It's absolute madness. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's just one of those things that I love doing. Call me mad, call me crazy. I'm a climbaholic. It's all part of the adventure, they see. Yeah, one last stop. That should be it for now. I think I'll probably stop 3 or 4 times on that climb. It's one of those climbs that you're never going to get up in one foul swoop unless you're like a real lightweight kind of featherweight rider with minimal sort of, you know, luggage. You know, like I'm carrying 3 litres of water plus spares and all that sort of stuff, and I'm like 92 kilos as it is, and the bike's 25 kilos. So yeah, I reckon if you're a bit of a lightweight, you might have a bit more of a chance. But anyway, onto the steep trail. So this is the really nice, cool winding track that runs from Mount Lofty Summit down to the Cleland Wildlife Park. It's got lots of switchbacks, little hairpins, crosses over the fire track here and there. But I'm making my way to Lodge Track, so I'm going to just veer off the steep just for now. Kind of cross over this little bit of a sealed road here, which is one of the entrances to the wildlife park, and try and find a way in where I don't have to pick my bike up to get onto this Lodge Track. So squeeze in through there, that'll do. There might be a little spot on the right hand side where you might be able to ride around, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, so now we're on Lodge Track. This is going to take me down to Wine Shanty Trail. It's quite steep, quite rocky, a few turns in it. Some of those rocks are baby head size, so yeah, take it easy or send it, whatever your preference is. There you go. So after riding a little bit of the Wine Shanty Trail, I'm going to be taking this right-hander. It's called Pillbox Track, and it takes me basically up towards Mount Lofty Summit Road. So I'll be getting onto that, taking a left-hander, and then basically crossing over Green Hill Road to get onto the Heysen. It's not raining, this is actually sweat I'm squeezing out of my helmet. I am a massive head sweater. Just riding along a little bit of the Heisen Trail here, which is technically a hiking trail, but you know, as you can tell, not a lot of people walking around. Not going to be getting in anyone's way, so I don't really have any issues with riding hiking trails whatsoever. If I can get my bike up them, I'm going to ride them. Now obviously if there was like a big crew of people walking along doing hiking and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't do it. I may stop, wait, let them go past, let them clear out, whatever. But yeah, you know, I try not to become a nuisance or anything like that. But yeah, I just love finding these little sections. I just think they're awesome, especially because they're generally more techy to ride. They're not designed, or they were never designed with cycling in mind, so they're going to be generally more rockier and steeper and looser and rootier and shootier and all sorts of non-cycly kind of things. So anyway, just coming onto Cranwell Road, which will then lead us on to Ridge Road, and then after Ridge Road you can take a left-hander called Coach Road, which will probably bypass a lot of the stuff coming up, but where's the adventure in that, eh? Now just on the left coming up here, you'll see that bit of a dirt road there alongside the grapevines, and also just down the bottom here after the car parked on the side, there's a little stubby pole there and a gate. I've looked on Ride of GPS and found heat maps that go through there, but they're both private property, so I wasn't going to be hooking through there just to take a shortcut. So do that at your own risk. Obviously people have done it. Maybe it's people that live on the property, who knows. Anyway, just turned onto Woods Hill Road and come down a bit of a ways, and just making our way towards the entrance to Giles Conservation Park. Now this gate is locked, like many of the gates on these parks, so it's a lift your bike up over the fence affair and then climb up over these steps affair. Don't take that track there on the right, that is the Heisen Trail. It's got a sign saying no bike, so I'll just take this one on the left, which is the Ridge Trail. So it's just basically a fire road. It takes us all the way along the ridge and eventually deep into the guts of Horsnell Gully. So yeah, these fire tracks are fairly steep, and they don't get used a lot by the looks of things. So there's some twigs and branches and all sorts poking out, so just be careful you don't get any of those stuck in your wheels or in your derailleur, because they'll chew it up and spit it out, like what happened to me up at Mount Crawford. Oh yeah, Magic Valley Track. Now what's all that about? Anyhow, this is now deep into Horsnell Gully, and we're going to be coming across a track that isn't necessarily designed for cycling, let's just say. I don't think we're getting through that. Oh, okay, so it looks like we are. Well, boys and girls, stuck down here in the guts of Horsnell Gully on a hiking trail. It's more or less Yurrebilla and maybe even the Heisen at the same time, not quite sure. But it's like this. Some rocky sections here I've been hiking. Looks like a little bit I might be able to ride just here. But have a look at it, like it's all deep, deep, deep. And I've just come down a whole bunch of really steep fire tracks. So I'll have a look and see how much further I can get up here. If I can't go much further, then what I'll do is I'll just turn around and go back up the fire tracks and yeah, back up through Ashton. But it's not an adventure, mate, unless you hike your bike, don't forget. Anyway, see you out in the trails. You. So as you can tell, definitely not designed for cycling. So those two rocks there just look like they're put in the way to, you know, stop people from being idiots. But me being an idiot, I'm just gonna keep on pushing on, man, because, you know, it's all part of the adventure, mate. That's what I keep saying. You know, adventure riding, this is what it's all about. Getting off the beaten track. So I don't think there'd be too many people that have ridden through here. Now, got to be honest, when I was looking on Ride of GPS, I didn't see any heat maps going through this track here. Alright, so if you want to try and do this, you could probably get onto Coach Road and bypass all this stuff like I was saying earlier, but it does cut out quite a fair bit of it. But you know, it's obviously going to be more rideable. So, but you know, these are the kind of things that I like, mate. This is what I like to do, challenge myself, you know, push the boundaries, get out of my comfort zone, and, you know, just see if I can actually get up half of this stuff. I mean, you know, there's bits and pieces that are just impossible, and there's other bits that you think you can't, and then you do, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. You know, some people like to push the boundaries by doing all that gnarly single track, you know, with all the massive drops and the big jumps and all that sort of stuff, like mostly a high speed adrenaline kind of thing. Much riskier in my mind. This is a lot more slower paced, but more technical as far as balance and trying to regain traction or retain traction. You know, trying to stay on your bike, trying not to put a foot down, you know, no dabbing, that kind of thing. A bit more of a trials thing, I guess you could call it. A bit more of a trials riding kind of vibe as opposed to an enduro downhill kind of vibe. I guess that's where I'm at. But yeah, great fun. I just love it. You know, but as far as endurance goes, I mean, you need a fair bit of endurance to do this stuff. So, you know, as far as the term enduro goes, you do need to have some endurance to want to be able to do this and push yourself through it, because your heart rate's up high for quite a bit of the time and you're pushing hard, your legs are getting tired, you know, your battery's going down, there's like things going through your mind, you're going to run out of battery, you're going to have to push your bike home, like all these things, you know. So if you ever wonder about the signs on the Heisen Trail or the entry to this gully say no bikes, you know why. Because you've got to be absolutely nuts to want to do it. Oh mate, that was pretty rugged, very rugged. Yurrebilla and Heisen Trail are particularly known for their rideability. Just so you know, alright? Don't try this at home. There's a nice little view through there. Have a look at that one. You sort of see Port Adelaide down that way, out of harbour. Rugged as. At least these climbs are a bit easier. Don't speak too soon though. Righto. Looks like we've come across a bit of a fire track. Right. So what do we got here? Rockdale Hill. Walking trail only. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. So this one says hard hike, stay on designated trails and all that sort of stuff, but we're not going that way, we're going the other way. So let's get away down this hill. What do we got left? 42%, 9k's. Well, I'm hoping that it's going to be mostly downhill from here because I've got a bit more than 9k's to go. I've never run my battery flat yet. There's always a first time. Oh, nature's air conditioning. So we're just on the other side of Green Hill Road, pretty much, just in Horsnell Gully, which I've seen some heat maps for. Not so much on the trail that I just rode, which was the Yurrebilla Heisen. That's strictly a like a bike. You can probably take this other road that I've seen, Coach Road. So you can actually get on Coach Road off of Woodhill Road, not too far from there anyway, and yeah, you can bypass the Heisen Trail. So far so good with the Kiox. It hasn't dropped out yet. Normally it drops out once every ride, you know, like it's a bit unreliable. Then again, the ride's not over yet. Oh yeah, there we go. Bit of there. So there seems to be some pretty gnarly single track running through here that goes down to, what would you call it, McGill, Burnside area, Beaumont perhaps. But yeah, a little bit out of my pay grade in fact. This is a pretty, bit of a black trail. My skills. Yeah, pretty steep, pretty rocky, pretty loose. Not probably the type of tyres to be running down here. Recon races probably need to be on the acid guys, I reckon. Nice and grippy. Jesus. Yeah. Bit out of my depth. Have a look at the views though. Wicked. Yeah, righto, so I've just been mapping these heat maps on bloody Ride of GPS. They don't tell you what sort of trails you're going to encounter as far as, you know, gnarlability goes. Jeez, look at that drop. Yeah, I think I'll go back to that one. Yeah, so back to the fire track it was. I can assure you I didn't go down over that drop. I took a little beeline around the edge just before making my way up here to the Sky Lookout. I had to pick my bike up over the rocks and yeah, just took in some of the views up here. Haven't been up here in years. Can't remember the last time. Oh, and this dude here, he was doing a little bit of an oil painting on the side. It was just like painting the scenery, you know. Thinks his hand's Heisen or something. Anyway, just coming through Ferguson Reserve, which is in Stonyfell, and towards the end of this ride I do try and seek out a few other sort of, you know, off blacktop tracks I guess you could call them, and they all pretty nice. They just go through little reserves like this, you know, where you've got creeks and ponds and, you know, things like that, gardens and whatnot. There's a couple of nice ones around. This is just joining up towards that, so yeah, this is where I'm coming into the Willow Bridge Reserve, which is just a small little part here, goes in behind people's houses. Nice to have this kind of you know, treed corridors, I guess you could call them. So yeah, this is the second creek here, I'm pretty sure. So this ends up running along down towards Waterfall Gully. I think Waterfall Gully drains into it, or it's one of the ones that it drains into. So yeah, at the moment we're pretty much, I reckon, inside the Michael Perry Botanic Reserve. So this is the one that's got, yeah, it's fairly well done up with the creek and picnic areas and, you know, rock kind of waterfalls and bits and pieces like that. Nice and wide. Bit of a established garden sort of thing going around the edge as well. You've got palm trees there and whatever you want to call them, little ground covers, ivy or something like that. I reckon these little spoon drain thingies might get a bit of a workout, by the grommets as they're coming home from school and whatnot. Yeah, so you just go across the other side at the end, spins back around, and you come across this trail here with all the fancy rockery around the edge and a bit of a garden going on there. This is where you come up towards the little picnic tables, and I think there's a toilet up there and, you know, a water fountain for drinking out of and stuff like that. And now I'm just making my way back in behind Langman Recreation Reserve. I'm sort of up high here, then there's an oval down below. And I think there might have been an old Cornish copper mine back here in the old days, you know, 1850s or whatever. Adelaide had a fair few of those kind of things dotted around the place. One pretty close to me across the road at Field River, out at Hallett Cave there. But yeah, this one here's got a series of really tight switchbacks that basically take you down to the Waterfall Gully road level. So yeah, a bit of a shortcut. I wasn't sure if I could go through the oval or what, but this just looked a bit more interesting, so I thought I'd give it a crack. But yeah, the only issue is, especially with these big bloody cow horn handlebars, is when you get to this point here, it's just a bit too bloody narrow to get through. So yeah, you got to sort of pick the bike up and walk it along the back wheel, get your handlebars over the edge. But after that, yeah, pretty much just make your way back down to Waterfall Gully Road, and yeah, you're pretty much back to the car park. So that pretty much concludes the ride for today. Hope you enjoyed it. A bit of a mixed bag. Had some flowy trails, you know, you got the steep trail, you got the me stay hike there, you've got some stupid kind of climbs that are real techy and steep, And you've got the even stupider kind of hiker bike sections that are technically hiking trails, but you know me, and all the adventure mountain biking aspects of riding that I like, that's what I like to do, and that's what I wanted to show you. So if you're an idiot like me, you know, that sort of thing, well, leave some comments. If you want a copy of the GPX file so you can have a crack yourself, do so. Anyway, that'll do for now. Thank you guys for watching once again, and I'll catch you on the next one, alright? Ta-da!